Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laurence and I post art videos once a week, and I just came back from vacation to New York City. It was so much fun. 2 full weeks there. It was a well-deserved and restful vacation. I would say it was a cultural vacation because we went to see a bunch of museums, art galleries. We had a lot of moments where we just sat in parks and I would draw. So a lot of art making and consuming. So it was so much fun. I'm going to tell you more about the vacation a bit later on. It's gonna need a bit more time to film that video. But for now, I just wanted to share with you an art haul. Super exciting, of all the things that I got in New York. And we're gonna do a little bit of swatching too at the end. So I think that what we're gonna do is that we're going to proceed by categories. So first we're just gonna do the sketchbooks, then the normal books, and then the art supplies, which we're going to swatch at the end. So let's move the art supplies to the side and start with the sketchbooks and papers. So there's a couple of sketchbooks that I got that I'm very excited about. First of all, we have this Talent's Art Creation. It's a pretty small sketchbook. I've seen a lot of YouTubers have this one and use this as a travel sketchbook. It's pretty small, very compact, so it's really easy to slip in your handbag or a little tote bag when you walk around the city. At least that's what I did. And I got it in this beautiful teal color because it's a color that I don't have. All my sketchbooks are black, so I thought it would be fun to have a little change. The paper is pretty, well, it's not super thick, but it's not that thin either. I got rid of the paper cover, but it said that it was good for sketching, all the dry mediums, and also some light wet mediums, so oils and watercolors, but I think this paper cannot take too much abuse. I have used it. Soon I'm going to film a video in which I share with you all the art that I created in New York, so you're gonna get to see what I did in this one. But I didn't get any problems. It was a lot of fun and I really like this size for traveling, so I'm very happy about it. Then I got another sketchbook that, there's the thing too. The thing with this one too is that we don't have it in Quebec, I don't think. At least I haven't seen it in the main art supply stores that we have. So that's why when I saw it, I didn't really have a specific need for a sketchbook because I still have a couple, but I really wanted to try it out because so many people use these and we don't have them here. So this one, the Art Creations, and this one is the same thing. So the Stillman and Byrne Zeta series sketchbook. So it's for mixed media. It has smooth paper and it's very white compared to that other one. The pages are so thick. I know I'm gonna love it. 270 GSM, acid free, good for pretty much all the medias, dry and wet medias, watercolor inks. So whatever you would want, you can use with this one. And I know that some people have the Epsilon as well. I have the Zeta because I think it's better quality. But I haven't used it so far. So I'm very excited to start using it. Then I got another Strathmore mixed media sketchbook. This is the sketchbook that I'm using right now. This one is a soft cover though. The one that I'm using now is a hardcover, but I've used this one before as well. It's just that I can't find it anymore. Oh, by the way, I got everything at the Blick store, except for the books that you're gonna see later, but everything else I got at Blick's, which we don't have in Quebec, and I don't think we have it in Canada. But anyway, what I wanted to say is that the Strathmore mixed media sketchbooks, we used to have them in my local art store, but then I can't find them anymore. So I got another one on Amazon, which was pretty expensive. And I thought that this one was cheaper in the United States. So that's why I got one. I already know I love it. I haven't done anything in it so far, but I'm excited to use it. Then I got this, the Strathmore watercolor paper pad. I have this one already, but in a really, really big format. So I got a smaller one, so I know that I like it already. The paper quality is very good. So that's why I got it. It was pretty cheap, so I decided, let's get it. It's also a format that I've never worked in, so I think it's gonna be interesting. And last but not least, definitely not least, I got this Archer's watercolor paper pad. It's a cold press paper. I already have a pad from Arches that I love. Well, at first I wasn't so sure because it's hot pressed. So I wasn't used to that texture, but for mixed media it's really good and I've been enjoying a lot lately. But I decided that it would be interesting to try the cold pressed paper, which is why I got this one. Also, I think it was cheaper if I got it in the States than in my country, but we definitely have this in my local art store. Then that's it for the pads and the sketchbooks and the papers. Then let's move on to the books. I only have 3, so it's going to be quite quick. The first one is a book about Georgia O'Keeffe, which is probably my new favorite artist. I don't think I had a favorite artist before, but after knowing more about her and her life and her work, it resonated with me and I identifying to her and her work. So that's why I got this book. I got it at a used bookstore. So it was pretty cheap, $6 US. And I haven't read it yet. So what I'm planning to do is have a look at these books and later film a book review. I don't know if you'd like that. I know that I haven't done any book reviews on my channel because these are the first art books that I've ever gotten. I wanted to get art books, but I just didn't get the opportunity before. They're often very expensive. So I was waiting to go to a used bookstore or, to get something I really wanted. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing a book review. So I have this small book about Georgia O'Keeffe. Then we have this one. This is the Designer's Dictionary of Color. In fact, it's my boyfriend's book because he's a designer, so it's very useful for him. And for me, for sure. So it talks about like a lot of colors and their meaning and how they've been used in the past, some examples. So I think it's going to be very interesting for me as well. So here we have blue, green. We have a lot of colors. Beautiful Monet. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good book. These 2 books, we got them on Amazon because we saw them in either galleries or museums, and it was pretty much the same price as in Canadian, and we decided to order them instead of getting them there just because of the weight. We didn't want to add too much weight to our luggage, so that's why we got them, and we got them delivered. But this one, this is a dream come true. This is the thing I really needed, but I didn't know I needed it. But when I saw it, I think it was made for me. So this is a book all about landscape painting, from pop abstraction to new romanticism. It is written by Barry Schwabsky. It's like a history of landscapes, and there's a lot of examples in there. So at first it talks about the history, but then we go into specific artists and some examples of what they did in the past. So I'm thinking of I'm definitely gonna do a book review about this one. If you don't care about the other 2s, just tell me. But I'm probably gonna do a book review about the other 2s, but we're gonna spend a bulk of that video on this one because it's just amazing and it's a big book. So good. But yeah, that's it about these books and the sketchbooks. Now we're gonna move on to the art materials. Okay, let's start with the miscellaneous stuff, or the stuff that is not in a box. So we have here a couple of watercolor pencils. Kind of got them randomly. I tried to pick colors that I didn't already have, and I think I did pretty good. So I got some Derwent Inktense watercolor pencils. We have Red Oxide, Sherbet Lemon, and Amber. And you can see that I might have used some already, maybe. Then I got some Derwent watercolor pencils, the regular, I guess, brand. And oh, you see this one is it's pretty used so far. So I got water green and light violet. Then I got some Caran d'Ache Supra Color watercolor pencils. We have lime green, periwinkle blue, and green ochre. 3 very pretty pencils. Then I did finally get a watercolor brush. This is by the brand Caran d'Ache. They had 3 sizes and I got the bigger one, which is not that big. But to be honest, it changed my life. At least when I travel, I don't need anything else. It's so nice to be able to go out, just bring this, a couple of watercolor pencils or paints, and not have to bring my water cup or any water or other brushes. I just need this one. Yes, of course, sometimes it would be fun to have a bigger one, and I'm pretty sure that I could find one, probably. I don't know. But for me, when you're out and about, you're going to the park or you're going out for the whole day and you're planning to bring some art materials, you really want stuff to be light and not take too much space. So I think that you kind of have to make some sacrifices. You might not go out and create a final artwork, something you're gonna sell, a masterpiece. You're there to take notes, to sketch, or to do something relaxing, or at least that's how I see it. So finally got one. I hesitated, to be honest. I almost left the store without getting one, and it's my boyfriend who was like, you need one, get one. So I did, and I'm so happy. So there's that. Then I got these. Okay, so there's 3 things. There's this watercolor set. There's another set I'm gonna show you right after this, and there's the Selman & Barron Mixed Media Sketchbook. These are 3 items that I ordered online and got them delivered to New York to a family member of mine because I had some money that I made from my Skillshare class, which you could go check out if you want. It's about abstract art and the link is gonna be in the description below. So yeah, I made a little bit of money from that, so I really wanted to get that other thing I'm gonna show you after, but then I had some money left, so I was like, I could try some more stuff. So I got this set of watercolor pencil from Caran d'Ache. These are the Museum Aquarelle. So these are pretty expensive. So I thought that it would be a nice opportunity for me to just try out a basic set. And so far I have been loving them. Let me show you the colors. So the box feels like it's high quality. You can see that I have used some of them already. So we have 12 basic colors. So you have pretty much everything that you would need in a basic set. And we're gonna swatch them later. Don't worry. They're very good. I love them. Then, this is the most exciting thing I might have ever gotten in my whole life. This is so nice. I'm in love. So I finally got the full set of Neocolor 2s by Caran d'Ache. If you don't know these are water-soluble wax crayons. So I had a couple before. I had these couple of colors, about 10 colors. And I saw Sandy Hester, an old video of hers where she got these, she unboxed these, and I was like, maybe I should just put the money aside to get them. So in a few months, I'll be able to get this whole set. But then that's when I realized that I had made some money from Skillshare that was in a PayPal account that is not connected to my main account. So it's like extra money that I just found that I had. And it's money that I decided that I would use for art materials or art related stuff. So it's like extra fun art money. So I was able to get them right away, but I had to wait because shipping them from the States to Canada was so expensive. It was like $70 extra. So I couldn't justify adding that big chunk of money. So I had them delivered to my uncle's place, and I had to wait maybe a month before I was reunited with them, but it was all worth it. So let's just have a look. I might have used some of them already. I decided to keep this because inside there is a color chart that I might use. I think I'm gonna use it. Anyway, so when you open it, it opens like this, which is fun. Then you have this protector, and then, oh my God. This is just like everything you could ever want. But then there's more. So you remove this first tin and you get your reds and earth tones. So it's like double the happiness. Look at this. You just have to stop and admire this. I have shivers right now. If I swatch these in this video, it's gonna take way too long. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a separate video soon where I swatch all of these. But I think in this video, I'm just gonna swatch a couple, like the favorite ones that I can pick right now just by looking at them, just a couple of them. But we're gonna do a full swatching video. So don't worry. I know that you were very worried, so don't. Ah, beautiful. And you have these, what are these? They're like clear stickers with like little, I don't know if you can see very well. You can see some crayons, and I guess it's all of their materials that they sell. Anyway, maybe some publicity for them. So that's it. That's it for the presentation of what I got. Now we're gonna swatch a little bit of these. We're gonna swatch these and these. And that's gonna be it. Okay, let's start with the Caran d'Ache Museum Aquarelle watercolor pencils. I wrote the names of each color. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to draw a swatch. And these watercolor pencils are so creamy, so smooth. So what I'm doing is I'm doing quite a big swatch because I'm planning to wet some area here, see what color it gets, because sometimes the colors change when you wet them. So it's always interesting to see. And I'm also going to try to drag some color downwards a little bit just to see how saturated, how opaque the colors are. But yeah, they are super creamy, not dusty. Some of the other watercolor pencils that I have are quite dusty, which is fine, but these ones are not. Oh, this red is the creamiest so far. So I've used some of them already, but I haven't swatched all the colors. That's why I'm very excited. And I've used them with other mediums, so I haven't gotten to see like their true colors. Oh, bright green. Ah, this one is pretty creamy too. Well, they all are, but so far the light cadmium red was the creamiest. Then I would say that bright green and that lemon yellow too was pretty creamy. Oh, this one, phthalo green. Very creamy. So far, all of these colors are super pigmented. They are very vibrant, and you can get quite an opaque swatch. Some are a bit more streaky than others, like this yellow ochre, purplish red, but If I were to do another layer on top, then I think we would have no problem at all. Oh, this permanent blue is very creamy. Yeah, and that's the thing that I noticed the most when I started using them, is how creamy they were compared to the other watercolor pencils that I have. This brown, I would say, is one of the driest pencil of this range that I've tried so far. Payne's gray, just like that, it looks like a regular gray, so I'm quite looking forward to see what it looks like once it's swatched. I'm hoping to see maybe a bit more blue come through. So let's add some water to the lemon yellow. So we're gonna focus on the bottom half of the swatch, and then I'm going to drag some color. And we can see that the color stays very pigmented. You can drag it pretty far, and the color is pretty opaque. Oh, I love this color. Once I add some water, it's like the luminosity, it pops. Oh, I love it. So that's what I like about using watercolor pencils, is that they're fine like this, but it's when you add water that the magic starts. I'm always excited to swatch the reds because they get so beautiful. They change a lot, I feel like, when you add the water. And yeah, and this one too, you can drag it pretty far. Let's do this purplish red. Ooh, I love how the color changes. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Wow. Now that bright green. Yeah, I think that's where you get to see the quality of these, is when you add the water. And also, I feel like the pencil marks completely disappear when you add the water, which is not the case with every brand. I always love a good stale green. Oh, so good. Now let's do dark ultramarine. I feel like this one is a bit less pigmented because it gets much paler when I add the water, even in this colored section. And then I can still drag it pretty far though, but it gets a bit paler. The same thing happened with yellow ochre. So far, these are the two colors where I can notice this effect. Now let's try permanent blue. I have the feeling it's gonna get so good. Oh yeah. Oh, amazing. And yeah, I was saying, I don't know if I finished what I wanted to say. Some of the other watercolor pencils that I have, the Derwents, for example, when you add the water on top, you can still see the pencil marks underneath, which some people don't like. I know that at first I didn't like that, but I really came to appreciate this effect, and I feel like it adds some extra texture. But I also can appreciate this here where the pencil marks completely disappear. So I think it's nice to have two brands that have two different types of effects. Okay, so now we have swatched them all. I was looking forward to swatch this Payne's Gray, and I would say that it's the only color that I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of grays usually, but I would expect this gray to have a bit more interest to it. I see that it's a bluish gray. It's not as blue as I would have wanted. What I just did before we move on to another brand is I put some more red here. So I used the light cadmium red. I just did a swatch about this long, and I wanted to see how far I could drag the color before it would fade away. And as you can see, you can drag it pretty far. You can still see a good amount of color here, so it's really good. We'll do the same exercise with other brands that I'm gonna swatch, just to see if there's a difference or not. Okay, so I wrote the names of the 3 Caran d'Ache Supra Color watercolor pencils that I have. So we're gonna swatch these, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a horizontal swatch, and I'm gonna try to drag every color. First we have lime green. I kept trying to find a chartreuse, and I know that Derwent have a new range of colors, or they added some colors. I seen that in one of Aliona's watercolor creations videos because she's affiliated to Derwent. So she said that they came out with a chartreuse, but I couldn't find it in the store. So maybe it hasn't hit the shelves yet. I'm not sure. But whenever it comes out, I want it. So this lime green is, I guess it's close enough. It's what I can get for now. The lime green wasn't as creamy as the museum aquarelles, but I would say that this green ochre is pretty similar when it comes to texture. And last one for Winkle Blue. I know that I have this one in my new color choose, and I love this color, so I wanted to have it in a watercolor pencil form. Okay, now let's add some water and see how far we can drag these swatches. So when I add the water on the colored section, the color doesn't change much, and I can drag it pretty far as well. This color is pretty pale though, so I think it's normal that at some point it fades, but we're gonna get a good idea with that Periwinkle Blue. But still, I cannot see as much color here than I could here. Let's do green ochre. This is such a pretty color, and we can see the difference with yellow ochre. I think it's a bit darker, but it's also the undertone. There's a lot more green in there. And I can drag it pretty far. And to finish off this row, we have Periwinkle Blue, which is a very interesting color. But when I add the water on this colored part, I can see right away that it gets way paler. So it's not as pigmented as the rest, which I feel like is a shame because it's such a pretty color. And same thing, you can still drag it, but you don't keep that same color saturation. Okay, so I wrote the Derwent colors that I have. So we're gonna start with water green, which I have used quite a lot during my vacation. But I'm excited to swatch it. And I can see right away that the quality is different. These are less creamy, a bit more dusty, and I can see some kind of streaks of darker color in there. But still, this is a very pretty color. So there's this one, and then there's light violet. So it kind of becomes a bit yellower when I add the water, and definitely we can see the pencil marks. This color loses its saturation pretty quickly. I'm trying to drag it, but we lose the color pretty fast. But the same thing happened with my Caran d'Ache lime green. So maybe it's because it's a pale color that does that. I don't know. Let's try the light violet. The color becomes paler, but when we add water to the colored part, but it becomes way paler once we try to drag it. And yeah, I feel like this color may be not as pigmented as my Caran d'Ache Museum Aquarelles for sure, and even the Caran d'Ache Supra Color 2s. But maybe it's gonna be different with the ink tints. So we have 3 of those. The first one is Sherbet Lemon, which is another attempt as some kind of chartreuse, but when I swatch it like that, I feel like it's a lot more yellow than a chartreuse should be. So it's not there. It's not a chartreuse, but I really like my greenish yellows. So quite excited about this one. Then we have amber, which is a color that is very, I guess, surprising for me, because right now I'm more into these vibrant spring-like colors, but I felt like amber could be a good color for drawing trees or doing shadows. And then we have a red oxide, because I think that I don't have any red oxides in all of my pencils that I have. So I felt like these last two would be good neutrals for me. And so far these three are a bit more creamy. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to say is in these two, you can really see the pencil marks. They don't disappear when you add the water, but we'll see what happens with the Inktense. Usually I really like the Inktense because their color, as the name suggests, is very intense. When you add the water, they look inky. And yeah, this is what happens with the Sherbet Lemon. When I try to drag it, it stays very saturated. Yeah. I'm glad to be able to compare these two brands, so the Derwent and the Caran d'Ache, and compare both of their lines too. So we have like the most expensive line with the more affordable ones, and really be able to see the difference. So we can really see the difference between the Inktense and the regular watercolor line. The color is way more intense, way more saturated. You can still see a little bit of the pencil lines, but it's not that bad. And the color stays saturated way longer than for the watercolor ones. So let's try the amber. And this one, I remember, it was a big surprise for me because the color changes quite a lot when you add the water. As you can see here, there's a lot of yellow that pops through. So I feel like this is so interesting. And it stays pretty saturated when you drag it. Yeah, it's a very interesting color. And last but not least, we have red oxide, which too changes colors so much. Look at this. When you add the water, it becomes this beautiful rusty red. Oh, I love it. And see how far you can drag it? It stays saturated. You can drag it a long way and it doesn't lose its color. And there again too, you can still see the pencil lines, but it's not that bad. And for me, it's not a problem too. Now we're just gonna swatch a couple of the new color twos, my favorite colors, and then we'll be done with this swatching session. Okay, so I picked 6 colors that I did not have before that I want to swatch. Some of these I have used already, but most of these I haven't. In fact, just the last one, the English Red, I have used in my sketchbook, but the others I have not. So as usual, these are very creamy. They're just very fun to swatch, especially on a paper like this that does not have a lot of texture. So they go on very well. So this one was purple. Now we have sapphire blue. Let's add some water and drag these to the bottom of the page. So this color purple gets very pretty when you add the water, and yeah, you can drag it pretty far. Now let's do sapphire blue, which is so pretty. Oh, yeah, it's very vibrant. It's very inky. Love it. Then let's try greenish blue. Let's see if it looks like Phthalo blue or Phthalo green. Maybe a little bit. Maybe more of phthalo blue. I don't know. But it's pretty, that's for sure. Now let's do light olive. I remember I bought an olive color and I was very excited to swatch it. And when I did, I realized it was a new color one, so I couldn't add water on top. It was very disappointing, but it was still a pretty color. I still use it a lot. Let's do flame red. It's really an orange, it's not a red. Why did you call it a red? I guess I could have just realized that it wasn't a red, but I still was hopeful, I think. Now, English red. It's so pretty. Yeah, it's different than the red oxide. The red oxide is a bit of a colder color, as you can see, and this one is a bit warmer. So pretty. Here are all the swatches that I did today. I don't know what I would say is my favorite between the Inktense or the Museum Aquarelle. I think I don't have enough Inktense to really know, but I love them all, for sure. And we have my love down here, the new color 2s, which I can't wait to swatch them all, but very vibrant, very perfect. So that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this little art haul. I think that I did pretty good for this one, and I don't expect to have another art haul soon because I think I have everything I need. Nevertheless, if you have any suggestions, if you think there's something that is horribly missing from my life, please let me know. And yeah, stay tuned for the next couple of videos. I'm gonna have a lot of New York content, so I can't wait to show you everything. I'm feeling very inspired. All right, so take care and I will see you soon.